I offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled devotees. Who else but very advanced, high-minded devotees would join such a call in a mood of cooperation and enthusiasm to expand the distribution of Gaudiya literatures all over the world. I feel really fortunate to be with all of you. Thank you very much for being here. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, Shishi Panchatattva, who led the way by example in their mood of going everywhere to give everyone an opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. Oftentimes when we're performing book distribution, we wonder, am I doing it the right way? Am I going too far this way or too far that way? But we can look at the example of Srila Prabhupada and also the Panchatattva and how Srila Prabhupada went to various places, guided by Krishna to distribute Back to Godhead magazine and sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, so forth. He did it himself. And the Panchatattva are known to have plundered the storehouse of love of God and to have distributed its contents practically indiscriminately. They didn't consider who was a fit or unfit candidate. One of the devotees yesterday, a young devotee, who was telling me that over the weekend when we had a gathering downtown San Francisco to distribute Bhagavad Gitas and other books, she was amazed that her mind had told her that certain people weren't going to take and wouldn't be interested, and then they took. And she found it a relief to know that her mind didn't know what was actually going on in the material world, but by following the order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to approach everyone, she discovered that willing souls are there behind it all. And I'm feeling this energy of exhilaration from the devotees everywhere in the world who are going out and knocking on doors, meeting people on the streets, calling on the phone, or introducing themselves through social media, and then just bringing up the subject matter. Hey, did you remember that you're a spiritual soul and that the material world is a wrong turn? And we have, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says through Bhaktivinoda Thakur's pen in his song Jeev Jago, N-A-H-E Ashaudi Maya Nashibharo Lagi. I have the medicine for you. So we're really in a fortunate position to have the medicine available to us and then an abundance of it to give to other people. We can't take it for granted either, because if we become complacent and think it's commonplace or that I can get it anytime I want, then we might be disappointed when it's not as available. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is known to have said, strike while the iron is hot. And I propose that we're in a really good position right now, all of us together, to make a surge around the world. Not just a surge, but also sustainable base and growth through which we can dramatically expand the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books in particular around the planet. I mean, why not? That's a good mark to leave on the world. We're here for a little while, and if that's what's in the information about what we did in our lives, that'll be great. I have a few slides to go through regarding some of the principles that are working well. And if you'll indulge me, I'll go ahead. Everyone okay? Pradyumna Vasudev Prabhu, okay? Okay. The Live to Give campaign, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says, Saraswati Thakur says, those who have life, they can preach. And also by preaching, we get life. It's important for our movement. So live to give. And by giving, we actually grow and live. So this is the second year we're doing Live to Give. It's a brand of the Prabhupada Marathon, which is the overarching theme. So we're doing it for Prabhupada, following in his footsteps. He showed the example. Okay, next. The global goal is 2.2 million Bhagavad Gitas. Please take a moment in your mind's eye to see what that looks like. Yesterday when I pulled up to the temple here at ISV, I noticed that part of the parking lot was not available because there were huge pallets of books covered by tarps. They didn't all fit inside our book room. So now they're out there taking up parking spaces. And I thought, this is what we want to see. And if you can think of 2.2 million Bhagavad Gitas stacked together, what that looks like, and the satisfaction, if all of us together could meet and break down all those boxes together after they're all gone, and then we can meditate on where each one of them went. Every book finds its mark. So it's September 21st through January 7th, the 2.2 global marathon to distribute at least this many books. Next, a few success principles. First is assume it can be done. There's always a way in which when we propose a new goal, the mind that seeks convenience, the convenience of the plateau, which means I'm good enough with the status quo, why do I have to do anything more? We already did it. This is our enemy. And along with wanting to stay in the status quo come a lot of reasons the mind will produce from its little factory about how it can't be done and why there are obstacles to actually reaching the goal. A more productive and I would say exhilarating way to look at it is to assume that it can be done first. It's bad to make assumptions generally, but this is a different case because we're backed by Lord Chaitanya and he's the greatest spiritual capitalist. He'll write the checks if we think big and make reasonably big goals that we can stretch towards. And if we assume they can be done and then work backwards from there and find out what the steps are, we'll be successful. So this is a tattoo. You can get if you want a tattoo, you can get this tattoo today. Make it a temporary one, maybe. Next. Encourage the heck out of everyone. You can just try this today wherever you are and see if it works in your own family, in your own ashram, wherever you are, or pick up the phone and just for no apparent reason, just encourage the heck out of somebody and see what their reaction is. See if they hang up on you. See if they don't like you anymore, or if it opens up a whole new world of communication. We're a volunteer organization. We go by inspiration. And it's really easy to get downtrodden quickly in the material energy. Everyone experiences it. Even Brahma, in creating the universe, has times of darkness and gloom. So we need encouragement. In fact, prachodayat, those who chant the Gayatri Mantra know this word. The Lord wants to encourage us all. That's why the sun comes up in the morning. It's an encouragement to us. It's okay. You can live. You can grow. All the plants say, yay, we can grow now. The sun's here. What is the sun? It's Krishna. So this is how our organization grows. This is what a spiritual organization is. It's an organization of encouragement. So please feel free to encourage the heck out of everybody. When you find a little spark, fan it until it starts to blaze. That's how this thing works. And when we go on Sankirtan, when we're meeting people on the street, all we're doing is encouraging the heck out of them. And then we give them a guidebook about how to stay encouraged for the rest of eternity. Next. Adopt Katvanga consciousness. Maharaj Katvanga is our hero. He's in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He did his duty fighting for the demigods for many, many years. And then when the wars were over that he was helping the demigods fight, they asked that great hero, can we give you a benediction of any kind? He said, please just tell me when I have to leave my body. And they said, you have a moment left only. And in that time, he's famous for having taken full shelter of Krishna. And we found during interacting with devotees all over the world that sometimes devotees find out sooner and some find out later about various dates and deadlines and goals. And some that find out later say, oh, but there's not enough time. I just found out now. Just remember Katvanga, what he did in 1 minute. And we found similarly those who assume it can be done and adopt Katvanga consciousness say anything can happen in a minute. What to speak of a day or 3 days. Do what you can within that time. And you'll be surprised because this is a spiritual endeavor. So remember Katvanga, pray to Katvanga, be Katvanga. Next. Get Jaladuta consciousness. This is actually what everyone wants from joining a spiritual movement. They want Jaladuta consciousness. We want to do something bold for Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada did something bold. Our boldness may be exhibited in a slightly different way than Prabhupada's. But if we challenge ourselves in some way and depend on Krishna the way Prabhupada did, remember Prabhupada getting on the Jaladuta with the order of his guru and with his books and with the holy names and in going out. That's where we want to live. We don't want to live oppressed by our mind, packed away in some apartment, afraid to make that call, to make the move. We want to live on the edge where we're always pushing ourselves out into the world to do more. See, there's an echo. Okay, next. And then how we do is more important than what we do. Everyone please say, how we do is more important than what we do. We can get carried away with, okay, I achieved this goal, that goal, but how did we do it? Were we kind to all living entities? Did we leave everyone with a good impression? Did we support the devotees? Did the devotees feel that they were part of the team? Were we careful about our speech? Did we not talk about people behind their backs, etc., etc.? Krishna talks about these things in the Gita. For instance, in the 12th chapter of the Gita, he mentions that those who are not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, those who do not become the enemy of their enemies, and so forth. There are many qualities. He says, these devotees are very dear to me. So how we're doing this is the most important aspect. What we do, it can always be bigger. But if we attend to how we're doing it, we'll be successful. Next. Management is meant for managing the results of the mission. The mission is to reach out and give people an opportunity to read Krishna conscious literature, chant the holy names, and take up the lifestyle of Krishna consciousness. So our management is mission oriented. The more it's mission oriented, the more we're aiming for increasing the actual mission. The more management and the problems that come from it are tolerable, not just tolerable, we invite them because we know we're making progress by overcoming them. Otherwise, we're managing on a plateau and it becomes burdensome. When we're engaged in the mission and we're pointing towards newer and newer goals to expand the mission, it's mission-oriented management and it fits and it makes sense. That's what management's for. Next. We're finding everywhere that the more we emphasize the team over the individual accomplishments. The more people get involved, and we don't find that those, especially high achievers, are discouraged at all. Oftentimes it shakes out the 80-20 rule, that 20% do 80% of the result, or achieve 80% of the result. But we find when we emphasize the team, how we reached the goal together, the team goal, and we don't have to go through and emphasize what each one of the participants achieved. Yeah, Anukul Seva, that's funny phenomena, this echo. But rather we focus on one aspect, which is our work together and how we've cooperated together to reach the goal. We don't find that the individuals are then neglected. Everybody knows who's doing well. Everyone can see it for themselves. Just as in the Gudicha temple, Lord Chaitanya noticed who was collecting more of the dust and straw that was there, and he appreciated them, but he said, teach the others how to do it too. It was a team spirit. So you can experiment with this and find out how it works, but all over the world, the devotees who are gravitating towards emphasizing team over individual are excelling. And one of the other reasons that it works is that those who can only do a little bit are not so encouraged to participate when we're ranking the topmost individuals and putting the spotlight on them, because they can't possibly do as much as the others, but they can do something. And when we have a lot of people each doing a little bit, it comes out to a lot. When we first started this system at ISV many years ago, somebody called us and said, you can't do that. This is different. We said, what's different? And he said, well, Prabhupada wanted us to compete. And so we said, well, why don't you compete against us then? We'll do our system and you do yours. And the numbers now speak for themselves. Okay, next. Birds fly in the sky as high as they're able. So whatever goals we set are really arbitrary. They're random. We do measure and see how can we do a little bit more. But you can always add more zeros onto a digit like 1, and it can be bigger and bigger. It goes to infinity. So it's not exactly the number that's important. It's how much capacity we're developing. Why are we setting goals? For what it makes of us to achieve them. For what it makes of us to achieve them. And as we go for goals year after year, we increase our capacity. So we want capacity in hearing and chanting. We want a capacity to increase in also distribution of transcendental literatures. Next. It's a giving movement. Preaching means giving. Outreach means giving. And the more we give, the more we grow. It's good to know this mathematical equation, because in material consciousness, I think the more I try to keep and the more I hoard, the more I am wealthy. But actual wealth means the ability to give, the capacity to give more. And the more we give, the more we grow. Next. Here's a few innovations that flat out work. Next. Placements in hospitals and libraries. Next. Motel Gita, reaching almost 1 million copies now in motels. Next. Corporate Sankirtan is a year-round effort. There's a team required. There's leadership required. There's cultivation required. Corporations are cities unto themselves. They're communities. And when devotees are aware of the potential of all the people in the corporate environment they're in, and they take time to cultivate these people throughout the year, then when it comes time for giving, and everybody in the corporate world wants to give because they feel extremely burdened by all the money they're making. It's really an onerous proposition to keep money. because then you're thinking, what should I do with it? Is there going to be tax on it? How do I hide it? Blah, blah, blah. So when there's a good cause available and there's people you like, it's a relief. And plus, people get great benefit, not just spiritually, but also economically by giving. So the corporate environment is made for us. Lord Chaitanya put to get people together in these groups just so that we could cultivate them. So make sure that you're taking advantage of the corporate environment to expand book distribution and to milk them for the resources that we can use to expand all over the world. Let me know if I need to do anything on Akul Siva. I realize you're vexed by the echo. Next.
Maharaj, if you could just mute and unmute once.
Mute and unmute. Okay, sure, I can do that. Hare Krishna.
We'll try that.
Okay. Kids Sankirtan is huge. There are lots of kids in our movement. Thank goodness. And they're brilliant. They're coming in from higher planets. And if you incorporate the kids into the book distribution, you'll find that they're highly competent. And another great benefit, I was just in the UK talking to a lot of the parents there because they've been doing Kids Sankirtan for several years. And they mentioned that it's the one time that the parents and the kids are all together doing service. Sometimes at the temple, we go off in different directions to do service, but here they're all together. And another great benefit is the kids develop talents that are lifelong and helpful. They learn how to manage things. They learn how to talk to people. They learn how to deal with rejection. It's extremely powerful for young people, kids growing up, to learn how to do book distribution. So try it. It works. It's fantastic. It's enlivening. Stack Mania. Do stack books. This picture doesn't show exactly what's going on because in stacks, it's important to tie them together with a ribbon. You tie it together with ribbon and you can have 3, 5, 7 or more. And when you hand over a stack that's cobbled together by ribbon, you just say a little bit about each book, and we do have a video you can watch. We can send out to everybody, or maybe it's on our website, and you can learn how to do it. Gopal Champu Prabhu is an expert, and he tells exactly how to sell 7 books at one time. It's actually easier than selling 1 book at a time. So do stack books together. Take the time to combine them. Next. Gita Jayanti fundraising is huge. It's a date and time which we need. And if you put all your energy into this as this vital date, then and you set goals for fundraising towards this date, you'll raise hundreds of thousands of dollars by people who want to see the Bhagavad Gita distributed. It's a worthy cause. It's a place where people really want to put their money to see books going out, the Bhagavad Gita going out. So take full advantage to the extent you take advantage to that extent, you'll be successful, guaranteed by the mercy of the Bhagavad Gita. Next. Arabic books. I don't know if you know this, but you get triple points for Arabic books. Do the math. Look on Google and find out where the Arabic speaking people are. They're very nice. If you go to the neighborhoods, you can find some Arabic areas. You can go door to door. You can also Arabic speaking areas. You can also work around the restaurants and so forth. And when you sell Arabic books, people are ecstatic to take them. I mean, most people. Some people won't be, but that's common in any language. And it's especially appreciated by Srila Prabhupada. I said that in the passive voice. Let me say, Prabhupada especially appreciated the distribution of Arabic and other Middle Eastern languages like Farsi. He said, if anybody preaches to these people and distributes in these languages, I take the dust from that devotee's feet and I put it on my head. So Prabhupada was keenly interested. So this is an insider's tip. If you want extra mercy, what to speak of extra points, get into Arabic. And all you have to do is get the books. It's one of the laws of book distribution, get books. If you don't have them, you won't distribute them. But if you get them and you do a little research, take you 5 minutes to find out where the Arabic speaking neighborhood is in Google, you can excel, and you can do 3 times bigger than you did last year by going all in on Arabic. Next. Our door hanger project last year, during which here at ISV and other places, I can say for ISV we hung 5,000, at least 5,000 on doors because we were totally locked down. And we put a cookie and we put some information inside, as you can see, in the Bhagavad Gita. We got hundreds of cards back from people thanking us. Not only that, many people joined our Bhakti community after that, right from these door hangers. Some of our nicest new people joined from this. Also going around to the emergency frontline workers and giving them books and prasadam. They're very appreciative to get a little attention. Sometimes people talk about them in the news and glorify them, but they don't get much personal attention. Next. So our global goal, everyone, is 2.2 million. Every book counts. Organize your community, your household, your continent in such a way as to help mightily towards this goal. And the more mightily you work towards it, the more mightily Krishna will empower you and give you a taste. Shushu Shro Shradhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatseveya Vipra Punya Tirtana Shevana. Lucky are those who can join a cause which pleases a pure devotee. If you do that, all good things will come. The best thing that can come is a taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy names.